Encore, you know, when Seraphine decides to charm as... Okay, this looks like a bug on swap. I think we're probably not going to see...
You know what? Maybe Umti is playing Seraphine mid. And Graves is... and Chieftain is playing Graves.
You know what? That's actually...
That's a thing?
Yeah, that's actually a thing that could happen. I didn't know that was legal, but
because...
I guess it is possible.
Oh yeah, it's legal. we've had all sorts of fun.
Okay, yeah, that
like
actually
that
makes
before.
sense. Yeah, so that's definitely a weird one, but all right.
Just the fact that they have this graphic prepared and everything makes me believe that it's not just a swap bug. So here we go, going into the game, and Umti is playing Seraphine mid. You prepared Wolf for Chieftain and his mid lane off rolling. Do you perhaps have any information?
No, I do
on
not.
Umti's mid lane off rolling?
I do not have any.
And if he's played any Seraphine in recent times.
I mean, I think everybody's played a little bit of Seraphine mid, and dabbled with it.
Extra on your auto attack makes things even easier. It's a fun champion. It's pretty intuitive, right? And now we have this engage down on the bottom side. Delight is going to eat a bunch of damage, but so will Keria. Ignites will be traded from the two supports, as well as the heal on Henna and the flash on Gumayusi. So a lot of tools to try to avoid that, as I mentioned. You know, if you get a couple of guys in there with a lot of CC, you could make it happen. We do have Ellen down on the bottom side, speaking of which, but Chieftain is here as well. As the engage will come in, Delight may have to flash this one, and, well, okay. He's just going to get blown up and deleted. There you go. First Blood decides not to flash, thought he could survive the Pantheon engage, but he was wrong.
I think there's a misjudgment here for Fred Brion as well. All in by Faker.
Oh, boy. Well,
he gets charmed,
though.
though.
A lot of damage himself. He's going to get ulted by Umti. He does have... QW, he's going to be keeping Umti at a distance, and that's going to be enough. As after that...
On the bottom side of the map, they could do this. They don't have it in mid, but it's a pretty easy rotation down for the Seraphine, so... Just going to be traded objectives. It's a good start here for Fred Brion in that regard.
Yeah, at least they don't lose both.
Yeah.
That's... They're not moving too far up the lane. They know this possibility is here. LM does have Grand Skyfall if he just wanted to really force the issue, but as you mentioned... The Xayah and her Featherstorm, and even an Alistar and his bit of disengage is pretty nice. They win enough time, and they think they're safe. They've got Chieftain nearby. They have the teleport coming in. The engage goes down onto Keria, and they will, in fact, pick up this kill. So finally, Fred Brion getting something going down on the bottom side.
Yeah, really unfortunate the kill went to Delight.
And now we're rolling up here on this Infernal Drake. They're just going to start it, and they're on Vision. So... You would imagine that T1 absolutely do not want to let this go. As teleports will come in and the front line is just going to get blown up. Chieftain way too far forward. Keria soaks a lot of the damage, as does LM, but nobody's dying on the side of T1 somehow, some way.
So good.
Look at these incredibly low health bars. It just doesn't matter. All 5 members of T1 will survive. They're going to take the Infernal Drake, and now a 7,000 gold lead at 15.
LM can actually take in this fight, because he's the one who actually really has to turn this around. Because as it starts off, you see the double teleports coming through, and tons of damage on the Chieftain, right? He goes down instantly, but then the charm is pretty good. And look at LM's health. He's super low, and Keria actually peels for him. He throws the spear in, and the bottom side of this fight is obviously going to go T1's way. They're so far ahead, and it's all it takes, man. It was really greedy to look for that Drake play. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but Chieftain...
Oh boy. I think he is just dead. Yeah, there it is. Shockwave comes in, and Faker picks up a 4th kill in game number 2.
They couldn't have made that happen without T1 knowing. That would have been too greedy. This is the only fight they could really take. This is the fight that, you know, we've all been waiting for as the time ticked down. And this really just has to be a perfect charm engage. And they're going to have a cast maybe to start it off. So difficult to pull this off. Umti's caught. Oh, no.
Great angle here from Keria. Easily able to shut that one down. And now you don't have anything from the Seraphine. You have no follow-up. Great follow-up engage from Delight, but a little bit too little, too late, as Faker will run down. Getting in there. Helps when they have the Baron buff. Makes the Tortoise run faster as well. Bro are going to give it one last go. They're going to defend it here at the inhibitor turret, or at least attempt to, As here comes Grand Skyfall right into your back line, as he would love to get that execute onto Umti. It is not going to land. Elim is even emoting him. No chill from this jungler. As T1, it looks like now they've had enough time, enough to safety, and they will look to end this game.
Yep, just going to be an easy cleanup here on these objectives. And you need to push this minion wave a little bit further forward. This Faker wants more. Umti going to get out of that one, but he's not going to be able to do anything. Well.
Oh man, they're actually going to kill him.
Yikes.
Okay. Well, there you go. 25.5 minutes. That was it. Headsets off. They take their big win. And, well, the most action in this game actually happened in the top side. You'll note the difference between the Orianna and the Seraphine. Props to Faker for asserting his dominance, perhaps we can say, as the ruler of the mid lane.
Yeah, and
yeah, there you have it.
Later on outside of lane, like the Orianna is going to have so much more value in a game like this where you're ahead. Incredible props to Zeus for really maximizing the power of Renekton. Like into a Gragas, you usually get a small lead, and the Gragas can kind of bring it back if there's a lot of attention in the top lane. But because he didn't get any attention, he was pushing, he was proxying waves, he was proccing his why can't I never get the name right? The Demolish. Was proccing the Demolish on the turret every single time it was up.
T1 locked down a very solid victory with this performance, and they were able to leap onto the 5th place with this 4th victory of the split. And this time around, Umti was the one playing the mid lane with this Seraphine. Other teams as well, when this kind of thing happened, we saw a lot of players kind of role swapping in this kind of accidents, and Seraphine was a good pick to kind of deal with this situation. But because he is a jungle main, he doesn't have the same amount of understanding of the mid lane. But outside of that, Faker was able to actually do a fantastic work on this Orianna during the lane. And Azir was open, so I thought Azir was actually would come up, but I guess T1's reaction into the Seraphine pick was Orianna. So there were some moments where, well, Faker was really good at going for some trades during the laning phase, and also Seraphine is actually really weak into the opponent's initiation. So T1, actually Pantheon Nautilus was a great pick to counter the Seraphine in the mid lane. I guess T1 had an edge over Freddy Brion in this pick and ban, but let's take a look at the game highlights. This time around, once again, Elim was the one that got the snowball go off. The Pantheon invades the enemy jungle and spotted Graves. So because he had this information, he actually go down to the bottom lane and camps there because Kai'Sa didn't have her flash up, so he wanted to protect his AD carry for sure. So it was a bit of a too obvious gank attempt coming out from both teams, but Xayah actually used her Q and E prior to that gank, so Nautilus landed its hook on Alistar, and that was connected to a very easy and clean kill. And Keria was able to land that hook in between the small minions, so that was also really a great play, a mechanical play coming out from Keria. And let's take a look at the second highlight where Freddy Brion wanted to open fight around this Drake. Just like the Korean commentator mentioned, they could have just hanged on a little bit and waited until their items to come online. Maybe there was a chance for them to turn the game around. So right here, the light went in for Pulverize, but Keria reacted really well with his flash, and then everything went wide, and T1 was able to pick up a very easy but solid victory in that team fight. Umti kind of played like a jungler in the team fight as well. T1 was down to below 15% in game number 2, but thanks to this game number 2, they were able to lift up the curse of game number 2. So let's take a look how. It was Faker on the mid lane, lifting up that curse. He had a very strong lane, And he was able to get a solo kill as well. I was expecting Orianna to come online in game number 1 as well. I was looking forward to some of them solo kill coming out from this player, but Faker's choice was set in game number 1, but he came back to his iconic pick, Orianna, for game 2. This is what I was expecting from Faker, dominating the lane. A player who has been dominating this lane for a history is teaching a lesson to a newcomer who just recently role swapped for this one particular series, and it was really fun to see him exerting all the dominance in game 2.